The UEFA Champions League. It's a name that echoes with glory, passion and unforgettable moments, the trophy with the big ears. A symbol of ultimate triumph in European club football. But what if that familiar formula gets shaken up? What if the structure we all know and love changes drastically? Starting from the 2024-2025 season, UEFA is introducing a new format for the Champions League. A format that promises to transform the competition. Gone is the familiar group stage. Welcome to the Swiss model, a system that introduces more teams and more matches. More teams, more matches, more money. But what does this mean for the quality of the game and the experience of the fans? Is this the beginning of a new era or the end of the Champions League as we know it? Only time will tell. The biggest change is the introduction of, you guessed it, the Swiss model. This model promises to revolutionize the way we look at football competitions. It's a bold step that will completely change the dynamics of the tournament. Instead of 32 teams divided into 8 groups from 2024 onwards, no less than 36 teams will compete in one big league. This means that more teams will have the opportunity to prove themselves at the highest level of European football. The expansion of the number of teams ensures a wider representation of different countries and cultures, which only benefits the diversity and spectacle of the tournament. Each team plays 8 matches against 8 different opponents, 4 at home in a roaring home stadium and 4 away, chasing points in Europe. This ensures a more varied and unpredictable competition, where every match can be crucial for the final ranking. The tension will be palpable both for the players and for the fans who follow their team across Europe. The top 8 teams qualify directly for the knockout stage. This means that consistency and performance throughout the entire competition are of paramount importance. Teams will have to be sharp from the first match to secure a spot in the top 8. The battle for these positions will be intense and compelling, with every match counting. The numbers 9 to 24 play playoffs for the remaining spots. These playoffs add an extra layer of excitement to the tournament, with teams that just missed out in the top 8 still having a chance to progress. It's a second chance for these teams to salvage their season and keep their dreams of European glory alive. This new system, UEFA claims, will provide more excitement and more top matches. The expectation is that the quality of football will increase with more matches between top teams and less predictable outcomes. Fans can look forward to a season full of unforgettable moments and epic duels. Critics, however, fear that it will come at the expense of the charm of the traditional group stage. They are afraid that the magic of the classic group matches will be lost and that smaller teams will have less chance to shine. The debate about the pros and cons of the Swiss model will undoubtedly continue for a long time, but one thing is certain: European football is on the eve of an exciting new era. For the big clubs, the regulars in the knockout stage, the new format seems to offer mainly advantages. More matches mean more revenue from TV rights and ticket sales. Moreover, the chance of early elimination is smaller. One bad game doesn't have to be fatal. However, there are also concerns. The busy schedule puts a heavy burden on the shoulders of the players. More matches mean more travel time, less rest, and a greater risk of injuries. This can be detrimental to the quality of football. The expansion from 32 to 36 teams theoretically offers more opportunities for smaller clubs to participate in the tournament. This means that clubs that would normally not even come close to the group stage now have a real chance to qualify. It is a chance for these clubs to showcase their talents on the biggest stage in European football. Clubs that previously could only dream of participating now have a chance to compete with the European elite. This opens the door to a whole new dynamic in the tournament, where the underdogs get the chance to shine and perhaps even cause upsets. It is a chance for these smaller clubs to make a name for themselves and write history. Imagine Heracles Almelo against Real Madrid. A match that would normally be unthinkable now becomes a possibility. This kind of match can inspire not only the players but also the fans, who see their team play against the biggest names in football. It is a dream come true for many of these smaller clubs and their supporters. The other side of the coin is that the differences between the big and small clubs only threaten to widen. While the big clubs continue to benefit from their huge budgets and extensive squads, the smaller clubs will find it difficult to keep up. The gap between the elite and the rest can therefore widen even further, which makes the competition less balanced. Clubs with smaller budgets and less depth in their squads will struggle to compete with the giants of European football. They will have to fight against the odds, not only on the field but also off it, where financial constraints and limited resources are a constant challenge. It's a David versus Goliath story, but in the modern world of football, Goliath is often too strong. Moreover, the chance of a fairy tale like Ajax in 2019 becomes a lot smaller. Although it is still possible for a smaller club to break through and achieve success, it is becoming increasingly difficult in a world where the big clubs are becoming increasingly dominant. Nevertheless, the hope remains that the magic of football can bring unexpected twists and turns, and that the underdogs can find their moment in the spotlight. The announcement of the new format was met with a lot of resistance from supporter groups across Europe. They fear that the soul of the Champions League will be lost in a money-driven pursuit of more matches. The traditional group stage, with its unexpected twists and turns and exciting conclusions, is precisely the charm of the tournament for many fans. The idea of one big competition with predictable matches between the top clubs reminds them of a closed Super League. In addition to the objections from fans, there are also fears that the new format will be at the expense of the national competitions. If the Champions League becomes increasingly important, the top clubs will be inclined to save their best players for the European matches. This can lead to a difference in quality between the top clubs and the rest, and a decrease in excitement in the Eredivisie. Imagine a Feyenoord, Ajax without half the starting 11. The new format of the Champions League, therefore, has both advantages and disadvantages. On the one hand, it offers more opportunities for smaller clubs and more revenue for the big clubs. On the other hand, there are fears that it will come at the expense of the excitement, the romance, and the sporting value of the tournament. Whether the new format will be a success, only time will tell. With the reforms, UEFA hopes to make the Champions League more attractive to a wider audience. Critics, however, fear that the opposite will happen, and that the gap between the rich top clubs and the rest will only widen. One thing is certain, the Champions League will never be the same. The introduction of the Swiss model and the expansion of the Champions League raise many questions about the future of European football. What is your opinion? Is this a necessary modernization or a step in the wrong direction? Let us know in the comments.